Imagine waking up one morning in 2026, grabbing a cup of coffee, opening the news, and discovering that the rifle you bought legally, registered legally, and have owned for over a decade has just turned you into a felon overnight. Not because you broke the law, not because you misused your firearm, but because your state changed the rules while you were sleeping. 9 states. 9 different sets of restrictions, and thousands of gun owners who have absolutely no idea that in a matter of months they could be facing 10 years in prison and fines up to $10,000, all for possessing a firearm they bought legally and responsibly. This is not theoretical. These laws are passed, scheduled, and real. And unless gun owners understand what is coming, many will walk directly into felony charges without ever realizing they crossed the line. So today, I'm going to take you through each of these 9 states, explain exactly what is being banned, when the bans take effect, the penalties involved, and most importantly, what you must do right now to protect yourself from becoming a criminal on paper. And before we begin, understand this clearly. Not knowing the law will not protect you. You can lose your gun rights forever, lose your job, your voting rights, and even your freedom, all because of laws that quietly go into effect while no one is paying attention. So let's start with the state causing the biggest shock to gun owners, Rhode Island. Rhode Island has just passed one of the toughest assault weapon bans in America, and it fully takes effect on July 1st, 2026. That is only a short time away. This is not a symbolic bill. It is not vague. It is a full-scale prohibition. The law bans the manufacture, sale, purchase, and transfer of what the state defines as assault weapons, and that definition is extremely broad. Any semi-automatic rifle with a detachable magazine and even one listed feature, such as a pistol grip that protrudes below the action, a folding or telescoping stock, a flash suppressor, a threaded barrel, or a bayonet mount, is banned. The law also applies to many semi-automatic shotguns. And the penalty? Up to 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine, a felony. A conviction that will follow you for the rest of your life. You will never legally own a firearm again. Now, Rhode Island offers a form of grandfathering, but it is extremely limited. If you already own one of these firearms before July 1st, you may keep it, but only under strict conditions. Inside your home, at your business, on land you own, at a licensed shooting range, or locked inside a container while traveling directly between those places. You cannot take it on public land. You cannot loan it to a friend. You cannot sell it to anyone in Rhode Island. You cannot leave it to your children unless they live in another state. And here's a warning many people don't know. If you move to Rhode Island after July 1st, 2026, you cannot bring your previously grandfathered firearm. It becomes illegal the moment you cross the state line. If you live in Rhode Island, you need to inventory your firearms right now. Any rifle or shotgun that fits the ban definition will soon be restricted to the point that you may not want to keep it. Many gun owners will choose to sell or transfer their rifles to someone out of state before July 1st. If you wait until after the law takes effect, you may have no options left. Now we move west to Colorado, where things look safer at first, but only at first glance. Colorado is not banning assault weapons outright. Instead, it is creating a long, expensive, and complicated barrier to buying any semi-automatic firearm beginning August 1st, 2026. Anyone who wants to purchase a semi-automatic firearm with a detachable magazine must first obtain a special eligibility card. Getting that card will require a state-approved safety course with live fire training, a legal instruction module, and of course, a background check. The course costs money. The card costs money. And the card must be renewed every 5 years. Even after you get the card, you must still complete the federal background check and the state-mandated 3-day waiting period. In other words, buying a semi-automatic firearm in Colorado will become a multi-step process that can easily stretch into weeks or months. Here's the good news. If you already own semi-automatic firearms before August 1st, 2026, you are safe. You do not need to register them. You do not need to surrender them. You do not need the eligibility card. The law only affects future purchases. But Colorado is also tightening rules for private sales. Every private transfer after August 1st must go through a licensed dealer. Your first violation is a misdemeanor. Your second violation is a felony. So if you live in Colorado and plan to buy a semi-automatic rifle or pistol, the best time to do it is before August 1st, 2026. Now we head to California, a state already known for strict gun laws. Beginning July 1st, 2026, California will ban the sale of any semi-automatic pistol that can be converted to automatic fire without replacing major components. This sounds narrow, but the definition is incredibly broad, and the Attorney General has full authority to decide which models qualify. Many pistols currently legal in California will be added to the banned list. Once that happens, gun owners will still be allowed to keep those pistols, but they cannot sell them to anyone in the state. Their only options will be to transfer them out of state or surrender them to law enforcement. If you live in California, you'll need to monitor the Attorney General's announcements throughout 2026. The pistol you legally own today might appear on the banned list tomorrow, and once the deadline passes, your ability to sell or transfer it disappears. Now let's look at New York. The SAFE Act has been in place for over a decade, but the state is now adding a major new requirement and millions of dollars in enforcement funding. Anyone who registered an assault weapon under the original SAFE Act must re-register it by June 30th, 2026. If you do not re-register, your firearm instantly becomes illegal, even if it was properly registered years ago. The state is not mailing reminders. They expect gun owners to know. Failure to comply is a felony carrying up to 7 years in prison. If you live in New York, check your registration status immediately. The countdown is already running. Next is New Jersey, the state known for having one of the strictest and most confusing assault weapon bans in the nation. New Jersey bans rifles and other firearms not just by name, but by anything the state considers substantially identical to a banned weapon. In 2026, the Attorney General will expand this definition again, adding dozens of rifles, many of which were previously sold as New Jersey compliant. And the moment a firearm appears on the updated list, it becomes illegal to own. No grace period, no grandfathering, no appeals. Possession carries 3 to 5 years in prison. If you live in New Jersey, you must check the Attorney General's updates regularly starting January 2026. A rifle that is legal today could be a felony tomorrow. Massachusetts is next, and the state is taking the copycat concept even further. Starting in 2026, the Attorney General will begin enforcement sweeps targeting duplicate or copy firearms, guns that operate like banned models even if they lack the usual external features. Thousands of rifles were sold as compliant, but the state now argues they were never legal in the first place. Possession of these firearms is a felony, and Massachusetts has no grandfathering. If you live in Massachusetts, you must speak with a firearms attorney. Do not assume your feature-compliant rifle is actually compliant. Connecticut follows, with the state preparing its first comprehensive audit of all registered assault weapons. The government is matching registration records with background check records to identify unregistered rifles purchased before 2013. Possession of an unregistered assault weapon carries up to 5 years in prison. Additionally, starting April 1st, 2026, all registered assault weapons must be stored in a locked safe or secured with a trigger lock. Improper storage is now a separate criminal offense. Maryland is adding 37 firearms to its banned list beginning October 1st, 2026. There is no grandfathering. Owners will have 90 days to sell, transfer, or surrender those firearms. After that, possession becomes a felony. Finally, Washington. The state is not banning assault weapons outright, but instead adding layers of restrictions. Mandatory safety training for semi-automatic rifle purchases, strict storage requirements, and an expanded red flag law allowing family members, roommates, and even ex-partners to petition a court to temporarily seize your firearms. So after all this, the question becomes, can these laws survive in court? And the answer is, maybe not. Thanks to the Supreme Court's 2022 Bruin decision, states must prove their gun restrictions fit within the historical tradition of firearm regulation. Most of these bans do not. Several federal courts have already struck down assault weapon bans or issued injunctions against them. Many experts believe at least 2 of these cases will reach the Supreme Court by 2027. And if the court applies Bruin faithfully, these bans may not survive. But until the Supreme Court rules, these laws are still fully enforceable. Police will still arrest you, prosecutors will still charge you, judges will still convict you, and your life can still be destroyed while legal battles drag on for years. So here's what you must do right now, no matter where you live. Inventory your firearms. Compare each one to your state's definitions. Verify registration. Update storage to meet new requirements. Keep every receipt, every document, every transfer form. And when in doubt, speak to a firearms attorney in your state. You may not like these laws. You may believe they are unconstitutional. You may be right. But until the courts decide, compliance is the only thing standing between you and a felony charge. The goal of this video is not to scare you. It is to protect you. Because you cannot follow the law if you do not know it, and you cannot defend your rights if you do not understand the battlefield. Stay alert, stay informed, stay legal, and most of all, stay free. If this video helped you, subscribe for more critical updates and tell me in the comments, which state concerns you the most?